Avenir is a global career guidance event to empower students and assist them in identifying their ideal future career path. It was conceptualized by the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Sultanate of Oman. The first Avenir was organized at Indian School Al Mabala in the year 2018. In 2019, Indian School Al Seeb conducted the program. Indian School Muscat conducted the first virtual Avenir in the year 2020. Avenir 2021 was conducted virtually by Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir. In 2022, the flagship school in Oman. Indian School Bachelor is all set to fly the flag higher by conducting Avenir 2022 in hybrid mode. Our impeccable planning, devoted team, unmatched resources guarantee a memorable event. The 5-day event will be held from Thursday, October 13, 2022 to Tuesday, October 18, 2022. Prominent achievers, educators, and industry experts will address the audience. Universities and educational institutes from different corners of the globe will present themselves to the audience of Avenir 2022. The event is open to all educational boards, including CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, and IB. It will provide comprehensive career guidance to students to pursue their passions at national and international universities. Avenir 2022 guarantees a wealth of information and awareness on 21st century courses, scholarships, internships, and career placements. This event will assist students in discovering their ideal future career path. Let us gather together for this 5 days of excitement, effulgence, enlightenment, exploration, and exaltation. Let's join Avenir 2022 to discover you.
Innovation is the unrelenting drive to break the status quo and develop anew where few have dared to go. A quote by Stephen Jeffs. What a fantastic quote to begin the session. Good morning, one and all. Let me take you all through the listings of what to expect in today's session. It is also the third session of the Mega Career Guidance event, Avenir 2022, hashtag Discover You, hosted by Indian School Bachelor under the aegis of the Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman. The welcome address will be followed by a brief introduction and a video on our eminent speaker. Then we shall invite the esteemed speaker for his presentation. After the presentation, we shall request our guest speaker to answer a few questions raised by the attendees in the Q&A segment. The continuing session will be taken up by the university spokesperson. The detailing of the courses available and the process of admission will be explained in detail. We shall conclude this session with a vote of thanks.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Avenue 2022, hashtag Discover You, a global career guidance program launched by Indian School Bachelor under the aegis of the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Oman. On the behalf of Indian School Bachelor, I, Sudiksha Mohan of Class 11,
and I, Adelicia of Class 8,
take the proud privilege of expressing our profound gratitude to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq Al Said for the magnanimous and noble benevolence showered on the Indian diaspora in the Sultanate of Oman. May the Almighty bestow His choicest blessings on His Majesty, and may this nation experience peace and everlasting prosperity.
We are happy to welcome all the students, parents, and teachers for being a part of Avenir 2022, hashtag Discover You. Thank you one and all for your benign presence here this morning. It is with sheer joy and great pride that I take the task of introducing our speaker today. Captain DEEPAK Joseph Tom is an experienced airline captain with a demonstrated history of working in the airlines and aviation industry. Skilled in youth leadership, market research, and commercial piloting. Strong operations professional with a A320 type rating, focused in systems, performance, jet orientation, multi-crew coordination, low visibility, and all-weather operations from Asian Aviation Center of Excellence. Completed his higher education in the field of legal studies from National Academy of Legal Studies and Research University, Hyderabad. Acquires the theoretical and practical knowledge of flying the Airbus A320 and completed the minimum requirements to be certified on types. Captain DEEPAK presently works with Indigo Aviations Limited. He is designated as legal commander of the aircraft, tasked to operate the aircraft in a safe and efficient manner. He is also designated as Flight Operations and Safety Audit Observer and various other designations in his field. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please join me and listen to our speaker, Captain DEEPAK Joseph Tom, on his topic, Becoming an Airline Pilot. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, both the MCs, for a warm welcome. Reminds me of myself when I was back at your age in Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir doing the same. Just allow me 1 second while I just share my screen. For once you have tasted flight, you will always walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward. For there you have been, and there you long to return. Good morning once again, everyone. Thank you for the warm introduction once again. My name is Captain DEEPAK. I am an experienced airline captain. I've been working for over 5.5 years. I've gathered more than 3,500 hours of flying experience on various different aircraft types. I've flown to different countries in Asia and in Indian subcontinent mainly. Just like many of you all attending the event, I'm also a proud alumni of Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir. I completed my entire schooling from there. Post which, like you mentioned in the introduction, I did my aerospace engineering Then I did my flying training from CAE Gondia, which is in Maharashtra. Then I did my advanced flying training from the Asian Aviation Center of Excellence, which is in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And currently, I'm just in the final stages of finishing my aviation law and transportation management masters. Professionally, like you mentioned, I'm an airline captain. Like I mentioned, I've been flying for over almost 6 years now with over 3,500 hours of experience, fly to various different regions in the Asian subcontinent, different types of weather, different types of experiences. Apart from that, in the company, I'm also a flight operation safety auditor. So I go on certain flights and observe the safety aspect of it. So today I'll be guiding you all through the process of becoming an airline pilot. And let's begin the presentation. So what exactly does the word pilot mean? So it can be used as a noun and as a verb because I'm addressing some school students, so I thought I'll just put it in. So as a noun, it means a person who flies an aircraft. As a verb, it can be used as a word, to pilot an aircraft. But as everyone knows, usually the word airline pilot is associated with someone who operates an aircraft, and sometimes in some contexts as well as some maritime vessels as well. So when we talk about what the day in the life of an airline pilot is, I'm sorry, I'll have to just rush a bit because I have to go for a flight. So what exactly is a day in the life of an airline captain? So unlike many other professions, it's not a regular 9 to 5 job. Every day is a different day. You're not working with the same people on a daily basis. You come in for work, you're flying with a different colleague, you're flying with a different set of cabin crew. You're flying with people from different parts of the country. Prior to COVID, we were flying with people from different parts of the world as well. So what actually happens is you get a roster for the month, and then you know what are the duties that you'll be assigned for the entire month, and you're expected to complete that. Again, like I mentioned, no 2 days are the same. One day you'll be waking up at 2 in the morning for your flight. Someday you'll be reporting at 4 in the evening for your flight. So a typical day in my life starts, I have to report at the airport about 1 to 1.5 hours prior to my scheduled flight. So I meet my colleagues over there. We review and brief for the flight. We look at the weather that's expected en route. Are there any regulatory requirements that need to be complied with? Are there any airspace closures? What is the technical status of the aircraft? Is there something that's affecting the performance of the aircraft for the day? Then we head off to the aircraft, and then it's just like every boy's dream. You fly a certain number of flights, mostly anywhere ranging between 1 to 4 flights a day. On many of the days, you return back home. On many of the days, you spend your night at a layover station, or you spend the rest of the day at a layover station. So this gives you an opportunity to visit different places, time permitting, of course. And the best part about the job is that once you're done for the day, you're done for the day. You don't bring back home any work. Once you're done, you just come back home. Once you've signed out from your flight, there's no files, no laptops, no meetings that you have to attend once you're back home. I'd just like to walk you through some of the pros and cons of this profession. I, of course, start with pros, and I am a little biased towards the pros. It is an extremely rewarding career. Of course, financially, it is an extremely rewarding career. It is extremely rewarding in the kind of benefits that you get. As everyone knows, airplanes are constantly evolving. Technology has taken us so far in the last so many years. As a pilot, you get to be at the forefront of operating the latest in different technologies. Airlines are also at the forefront of environmental conservation. So when it comes to reducing carbon footprint and things like that, you'll be at the forefront. You'll be a leader in that field. You'll have the opportunity to do your contribution to the environment. Another pro that everyone is kind of well aware of is the opportunity to visit different places. I've had the opportunity to visit more than 10 different countries during my career. I've had the opportunity to visit almost every major city in the country as well. You get excellent travel benefits for yourself and for your family as well. So a lot of times people say, that you get to travel for free. That's not exactly, but it's extremely subsidized, and you can travel wherever you want across your airline's network. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, one of the biggest benefit that I see compared to, a couple of my friends with whom I did my engineering is that once you're back home, you don't have to pick up any work calls. There's no laptops. There's no presentations that you have to make. There are no meetings that you have to attend. Once you leave the airport, you're done for the day, and you only start your day once you reach at the airport. Along with so many pros, of course, comes a little bit of cons as well to the profession. You spend a lot of time away from home, which might get taxing. So you may not be able to spend your Christmas, New Year, your birthdays, your family's birthdays, wedding anniversaries at times. So that'll keep you away from home for a lot of time. You also work at different odd hours, so you're always kind of battling with your body clock. Like I said, you don't have a fixed routine, so you don't have a fixed body clock. But of course, you'll get used to it. It's nothing too hard to overcome. You just wake up to an alarm like every other day. But yeah, there is no stability in terms of time. Like you may be awake through the entire night and sleeping through the day as well, and it happens almost every other day. The job itself is quite physically and mentally demanding as well. But again, your body gets used to it, you get acclimatized to it over time. So you are inside a pressurized vessel, you're spending about 12 to 14 hours a day inside a pressurized vessel. So that brings a bit of physical strain on your body as well. The entire time you're working in an extremely high stress environment. The variables, some can be accounted for, some cannot be accounted for. You can have any technical malfunction, you can have medical emergencies on board, you can have extremely bad weather at the place you're arriving. So every day is a sort of a fairly high stress environment that you're working in. So a couple of traits that you'll need to acquire or pay attention to if you want to be successful in this profession is, first of all, you need to have attention to detail. This is something that some people might acquire naturally, something that you'll have to train yourself to in the long run as well if you want to be successful in this profession. So when you talk about attention to detail, there is very little room for error in the skies. So pilots need to have a very high level of attention to detail and a precision to promote better flight safety, because there is absolutely no room for error. When you're doing a simple calculation of addition as well, if you make a single error over there, things can go haywire from there. So attention to detail is very important. Situational awareness is another important trait that everyone should have. Again, these are things that can be built up at a very young age. Some people have it naturally, some people acquire it. You can train yourself to improve your situational awareness, your attention to detail and stuff. So when I talk about situational awareness, is basically knowing what's happening around you, be it generally in life or as well, especially when it comes to being a pilot, you should know what's happening around your flight and anticipating any sort of future events that may occur. For that, if you're a good observer, you should be able to have good situational awareness as well, because airplanes are flying at almost 900 kilometers per hour, and there is very little room for error. So attention to detail and situational awareness is very important. You should have a fair amount of self-confidence. I'm sure today's kids don't have this issue much, but so when you look at self-confidence, there are two ways to look at it. So if you're extremely confident, or as you say, overconfident, that might lead to arrogance, which is a negative trait, which is not required to become a pilot. And if you're underconfident, that is bad as well, because you have to make a lot of split-second decisions when you're flying. And literally speaking, you actually just have about a second to make that decision. So if you lack self-confidence, that might affect your decision making. So a fair amount of confidence is required. Again, like I said, if you're overconfident or too confident, that is also bad, because you will tend to become a little arrogant. And arrogance is not welcome in a team environment whatsoever. And apart from that, you should also trust your own confidence and skills, and believe that the decisions you make are going to be successful. So that comes with a fair amount of self-confidence in you. To be extremely humble. Humility is a very important trait. So why it is important to become a pilot is because humble pilots know that no matter how well trained or naturally talented they may be, there's always room for improvement. So they are willing to admit their mistakes and seek guidance from, of course, experienced pilots to improve their flying skills. I remember when I was a kid growing up, and I used to tell my mom all the time, that I want to become a pilot, I want to become a pilot. So this is something that she always used to tell me, that learning never stops. You always got to be on your retirement flight just the way you were on your first flight as well. So humility is a very important trait that all pilots need to have. You need to have effective communication skills. So as you all may have seen in different videos, movies, etc. So pilots are constantly communicating amongst themselves. You're communicating with your team members who are back in the cabin. You're communicating with air traffic control. So effective communication skills are an important aspect actually in all domains of life, but is of particular importance when it comes to flying or in aviation. Ineffective verbal communication between pilots and air traffic controllers can have serious implications, and in fact, it has been cited as a causal factor in different aircraft accidents and incidents. You should have the ability to remain calm. Pilots must be able to remain calm and collected, especially in an emergency situation. This is something you'd come across quite normally on a day-to-day basis. A lot of time passengers are not aware of what is actually happening in the flight deck. There could be a passenger who's ill. There could be a technical malfunction that has popped up. So it is extremely important that you remain calm, especially if you have the ability to remain calm under pressure. You will be extremely successful in this profession as well. So even when the unexpected occurs, you should be able to think very clearly, very focused, and your primary focus is the airplane safety. Like we have a saying in our profession as well, if you can save yourself, you can save everyone on board. But that, of course, is a worst case scenario, doesn't happen very often. You should be a constant learner, like I mentioned earlier as well, in humility. So you should be lifelong learners, just like if you compare it to other professions like medicine and stuff. Uh, Aviation is constantly evolving. There are a lot of regulations that are coming in, a lot of technological updates that are coming in. So you have to spend a lot of time learning, all the new updates that are coming, be it regulation, technical performance. So no matter what your experience level is, whether you're flying or not, you always have to be a keen learner so you can stay updated with what is happening in the industry. You need to be extremely punctual. So we all know how agitated passengers or yourself, you get agitated when the aircraft is running late. A lot of times it is out of our control. There could be bad weather, the aircraft is coming late. But as an individual, punctuality is of utmost importance when it comes to this profession. And you need to have a certain amount of discipline, just like any other field or profession. You need to have a certain amount of discipline in this field. You need to be well groomed all the time. You need to take care of your health. You need to eat right. You need to get adequate rest. So discipline goes a long way. Now that I was able to cover all this with you, let's talk about, I think someone has raised their hand. Do you want me to address this right now, or do I have to?
Captain Deepak, excuse me, you can entertain the questions during the question answer session, sir.
Sure.
It won't disrupt your flow of explanation, I guess.
No, that's completely all right. If it's a question that's relevant, I don't mind answering it now, so that's fine.
Okay, fine, sir.
I think Mr. Jain, can one of the MCs just have a look at?
Captain Deepak, you may please proceed, sir, with your presentation.
Okay, so now that we've discussed all our, I'm sorry, I'm just rushing a bit because I have to go for a flight very shortly. So anyway, continuing. So now that we've discussed, so if you think that you fit into these attributes that I discussed, of course, it's an extensive list. I won't be able to cover all of them, but you kind of get the basic gist of what I'm trying to get at. So when it comes to training, training is very important. It takes you a long way to have a successful career. So choosing the right flight school, so to say, or the right place to train is of very high importance. So what are the minimum requirements required for training is in your 11th and 12th standard, you need to have PCM, that's physics, chemistry, and maths. Some of the airlines require that you have a minimum of 60% aggregate when it comes to your physics, chemistry, and maths. Some of the international airlines also require that you have a bachelor's degree. Of course, it's a very generic thing that I'm telling you, so I cannot tell you exact specifics based on airlines because there are thousands of them around the world. Yes, but a lot of international airlines, especially in the Western world, require that you have any sort of bachelor degree before you can pursue a career as an airline pilot as well. However, that being said, mostly in the Asian subcontinent, the region where you most probably start your career, The requirement of a bachelor's degree is not a mandate, but however, most of the airlines want that you have at least 60% in your physics, chemistry, and maths. You should have an extreme good understanding of physics and maths. Physics and maths is of utmost importance. So if your basics in physics and maths are clear, your theoretical part of the training and your understanding of flying would be much more simpler. When it comes to training, I'll be speaking with a little reference to the main two domains under which you can train. So the major domain that most of the people, including myself, had taken was the commercial route. I'll just talk about the other route as well. So when you talk about a commercial route, it's mostly people who finish their 10+2, so their 12th standard with physics, chemistry, and maths, or people like me who've completed their graduation. I've had colleagues of mine in flight school who were doctors, dentists, people who had work experience for almost close to 5-7 years. One person even had about 10 years of experience working before they decided to become a pilot. So a lot of people carry this dream to become a pilot right from an very young age, and it's carried forward. So you can pursue it at any time in your life, So that exactly. But however, it will be good if you pursue it after your schooling itself. So when you talk about the commercial route, again, in this, there are two main domains that you can go into. So there are the airline sponsored courses as well that you can attend. And one is just like how you go to university, you enroll yourself in any of the flight schools and you can continue as well. So most of the airline sponsored programs are self-sponsored programs. So what that actually means is that you would be bearing the cost of your training. However, they would provide you with a letter of intent, which says that subject to you satisfying the training conditions. So they would require you to finish the training in a certain amount of time. You would have to attend your training at one of the designated training partners of the airline. And subject to you completing all of that, you would be admitted into the airline at an entry-level position, which is usually as a trainee first officer or a junior first officer. When you talk about the commercial route, the training costs are actually very dynamic. It varies on a lot of factors. So weather is a very important factor when it comes to training. So when you're especially in the flying phase of your training, weather can play a role. So if you get delayed because of weather, you're just adding on the number of days that you're spending in your hostel or your flat. So that adds to the cost. Aviation gas, fuel prices affect your training costs as well. But so to speak, in average, if you go to an entry-level flight school in India, your cost of training would somewhere begin at about 30 to 35 lakhs. And if you go to a more well-established flying school or a training institute, which is one of the international flying schools that are based in India, your training initial cost can go anywhere up to about 50 to 60 lakh rupees as well. Another common route that a lot of people prefer to take is the military route. So for people finishing their 12th standard, the National Defense Academy is one of the options to pursue a career in the military. So all of the branches of the military that we have in India, that is your Army, Air Force, and the Navy, have an aviation wing as well. The Air Force, of course, is completely a flying wing. The Navy has aircrafts as well and helicopters. The Army has an entire fleet of helicopters as well. So a lot of people pursue this route as well. The advantage of serving in the military is that, so either you can go after your 12th standard, which is the National Defense Academy. It's a highly competitive entrance process and you need to be extremely physically fit. The medical standards in the military are much more stringent than in civil aviation for the initial selection part. So a lot of people, they take the military route, but so that the entire cost of the training is borne by the government. But that, however, comes with the catch that you have to serve the government for at least, if I'm not wrong, 25 years if you're commissioned as an officer. So if you're in one of the flying branches, you need to pledge about 25 years of service before you can retire. So by the time you retire, your average age is going to be about 40 to 45. Sometimes even 50, and then you can come in for the remainder of your career into civil aviation. So we have a lot of my colleagues and dear friends who retired from the military and joined us in the airlines as well. Another option is the Coast Guard as well. So in the Coast Guard, you can finish your training from any of the flight schools. You can join the Coast Guard, and then you only have to commit to 10 years of service with the military. So training basically is divided into two parts. So the initial part of your training when you're enrolled in a flight school comprises of two parts. One is the theoretical training, of course, and then it comes to the practical training. So when you talk about theoretical training, there are these five major subjects that you'll be covering. So one is air navigation. So of course you talk about navigation, how you're going to get from place A to place B. Of course, in the air, you have no signboards and stuff like that. So you rely a lot of instruments, you rely on map reading. So navigation covers pretty much all of that. Aviation meteorology, one of my favorite subjects as well when I did my training, talks about weather in detail. So you talk about global climatology, how are aviation weather reports prepared, how do you forecast weather trends, how do you identify different types of clouds, how can it affect your operation, and things like that. When you talk about air regulation, it is mainly about regulation, or as we call it, rules of the air. So ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, is the apex body when it comes to designing all the rules and regulations when it comes to flying. So you need to be extremely well versed with international regulations, and you also need to be well versed with local regulations, as in when you're flying in different airspaces. For example, if I'm flying from India to Muscat, I need to be extremely well versed with the rules of the air of India as well as of Oman, because if you deviate from any of the regulations that are laid down, is absolutely not forgiven in any country whatsoever, because it reduces your margin of safety. Technical, of course, you study about the aircraft systems, how an aeroplane flies. You delve into aerodynamics, you get into thermodynamics, you get into a very minor portion of propulsion, jet engines, and all the systems that are on the aircraft. So it is a quite exhaustive subject. The last one is radio telephony. Sorry, just to add on to technical. So there are two branches of technical as well. So technical general, that is where you study the general parts of technical of the aircraft. And then you have radio technical specific, which is specific to each of the aircraft that you have to fly. So that again is an extensive theoretical study. When you talk about radio telephony, this is basically the correct verbiage that you use when you want to communicate with air traffic control and stuff like that. So you need to have a license to operate any sort of radio equipment. So even RJs have their license to operate, but we operate on a different frequency band as pilots. So you need to have the radio telephony license. So this again is split into two parts. So for all of the theoretical exams are conducted by the respective civil aviation organization of the country. So in Oman, we have PACA. In India, we have DGCA, which is the Director General of Civil Aviation. So in almost all the countries, the minimum pass for any exam is 70%. And in some countries, like in Europe, if you're doing your training, the minimum pass would be about 80%. So total, you'd be giving about 7 exams, and different countries have different regulations. Some of the countries only allow you 10 attempts to give all the 7 exams. So you have to put in your heart and soul when it comes to the theoretical training. When it comes to the flying training, that is the part you'll be enjoying the most, especially once you're released solo to fly. You have to complete about 200 hours of training mostly in the Asian region. We consider about 200 hours of training that involves your training different types of flying sorties. So you'll be doing a lot of different types of training in those 200 hours. And also you'll be checked by examiners who are appointed by the civil aviation organization of the country, who clear you for your license. So in completing your basic theoretical and flying training, you're rewarded usually with a commercial pilot's license. Once you have your commercial pilot's license, you're legally allowed to operate any aircraft commercially. But however, that does not entitle you to fly the major jets that we see. So what is different from an airline pilot's license and a normal driver's license that we have is, of course, the amount of training that goes into it. So usually your commercial pilot's license stage lasts anywhere between 15 to 24 months. Depending on how fast you're able to clear your exams, how fast you're able to finish your flying training. Once you obtain your commercial pilot's license, if I had to give you a very layman's example, so if you have your driver's license and you're allowed to just drive a Toyota Corolla, but if you want to drive, say, a Toyota Innova, you'd have to get a separate license. So that is what it is. So then we go for what is known as an aircraft specific training. That is based on where you're employed, which airline you get into. So then they will send you for, or whatever organization you get into, they will send you for your aircraft specific training. Nowadays, most of the training is self-sponsored as well. So the cost of this training can last anywhere between 18 to 25 lakhs, depending on where you're getting this done. So once you're aircraft specific trained, you'll be legally allowed to operate that aircraft as well. So like I'm trained on the A320 and the A321. So I'm allowed to fly the A320 and the 321. However, if I was to fly another aircraft or another variant, I'd have to undergo the entire specific training, which lasts for about 2 to 2.5 months again. So in the type training specific to the aircraft, again, you'll be divided into two parts. So you got the theoretical part, which is again technical, like I mentioned earlier. So you'll get into the technical specifics of the particular aircraft that you're planning to, or the one that you're being trained on. This usually for a major jet aircraft is about close to 7,000 to 8,000 pages of documents that you need to be well versed with. Then you have performance training. Performance training is basically calculation of performance of the aircraft. It's more of applied physics and maths. So that's why maths and physics is very important. Performance again used to be one of my favorite subjects when I was doing my training as well. So every takeoff and landing, you got to calculate different speeds, how much weight can you carry on the aircraft, what is the optimum level you want to fly in. Especially when you're flying in a commercial environment like an airline, you always need to find the most efficient altitude to fly at, the most optimum speed to fly at. So it's always a balance between time and cost to the company. Again, when you finish your theoretical part of the training, you head into simulator training. Of course, it's not financially possible, or no one has the amount of aircrafts to train people on empty aircrafts like passenger aircraft. So we do training in what is known as a level D simulator. A level D simulator is as real as it gets. Even the seats, the upholstery on the seats are exactly the same. So you will not feel the difference whether you're sitting inside a simulator or inside a real aircraft. Even the buttons, the movement of the aircraft, it moves on all 6 axes and it behaves exactly like the real airplane. So you're done with your simulator training and then you're cleared and qualified to fly as an airline pilot. Just to wrap things up, what are the career opportunities if you're qualified as an airline pilot? So there are different career opportunities that you can take. One is, of course, the scheduled airlines that we talk about. So, just to give you an example, Oman Air, Salam Air, Air India, Indigo, Jet Airways, etc., are all examples of scheduled airlines. Then you have the non-scheduled airlines. So they're like the private companies that have the smaller jet aircraft or piston aircraft that are available for people to hire. So mostly a lot of the politicians, business people, celebrities, etc. Choose to fly on non-scheduled airlines. So, they just pay for the entire aircraft, basically like a private aircraft. Then, of course, you have the cargo aircraft, Blue Dart, FedEx, DHL, UPS are all major. They all own more than 200, 300 aircrafts and mostly involved in cargo operations. Then, of course, you have the corporate world. A lot of companies own their own private aircrafts. Reliance has their own aircraft, Tata has their own aircraft. So a lot of people pursue a career in this field as well. Excuse me. So at the end of the day, it boils down to what kind of lifestyle choice that you would want. So if you're involved in a cargo operation, it'll be mostly a lot of night flying that you'll be doing when airports are not very busy for passenger traffic. If you're in a passenger airline, you'll be flying pretty much 24 hours, just like me, at any time of the day. You'd also, be called in for work with just 2 hours of notice. So that is one of the cons of working with one of the airlines. Charters and corporates, again, there is very little flying that you do. You're only flying for about 10 to 12 days in a month. So you have a more stable family life. But you don't know when you'll be called in for work. So that is one of the disadvantages of being in the charter or the corporate world. So I'd like to close this with a quote that I had also done for my graduation speech back in the day. So when the stars yield forth from their daytime hiding places and that one light shines brighter than the rest, could be your wingtip passing over. Thank you, guys. I can take any questions if anyone has any.
That was an extraordinary session by you, sir. Your creative and fun-filled session enlightened us and kept each one of us engaged. Now, we would like to request our speaker, Captain Deepak, to kindly answer a few queries put forth by the audience. Now, may I invite the moderator of the session, Ms. Jinu Mary, to pose some questions from the audience to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, the comparers. Yes, and Captain Deepak, It was a very educative session, and I would like to appreciate the efficacy able to touch all the aspects of your subject within this short period of time. And explanation was also on point on. So thank you very much, sir. So I would like to ask one question regarding like on the behalf of the students who are aspiring to be a pilot, because it's a more sought out profession, right? So everyone wants to be a pilot without thinking about whether they have the right mixture of aptitude in them to pursue the career. So can you please pinpoint some of the most eminent required skills or aptitude that one should have or to pursue being into this career of being a pilot?
Okay, so ma'am, like I had mentioned, thank you anyway, like I mentioned in my presentation as well. So there are some technical attributes and non-technical attributes that you need to be well versed in. Of course, you can acquire them over time with training, but a lot of people are natural as well. So you need to have, when it comes to your technical, especially at a school level, you need to be have a good understanding of physics and maths. It's just not about solving the questions or LHS is equal to RHS or whatever, but you need to have a sound understanding of what those principles are. Because be it any field, if you're pursuing any science related field, be it flying or engineering or any of those fields, if you do, everything is built on basic physics. So technically you need to be extremely well versed with physics and maths. It's not about scoring high marks. You could be a low scorer, but if your understanding is good, you'd be very successful in this. Other than that, non-technical attributes, like I mentioned, you need to be a good communicator. You need to have, you need to be quite humble. You need to be a good observer. You need to have good situational awareness generally as well. So, I mean, of course, these things might take time in some people, but there are a lot of things that you can do to improve your situational awareness, your communication and stuff. You can take part in different school activities. Sports is a good way to enhance your eye skill, eye-hand coordination, which is very important when it comes to flying, because a minute input at about 900 kilometers per hour can have cascading effects. So eye-hand coordination is also very important. So if you're involved in a bit of sports as well, so that will also help you go a long way in having a successful career, or being a cut above the rest, as to say.
Thank you very much, sir. We have one question from Varshini. She wanted to know about the scope of higher studies or specialization in this field.
Okay, so once you become an airline pilot, so once you become a captain, that is pretty much the end of your career. So unlike many other professions, there are not many courses that you can do to enhance your career, because at the end of the day, your job is to fly the aircraft. However, depending on your skill set, you could take up additional responsibilities, which would be non-flying. Like I am one of the flight operation safety auditors that we have here. Apart from that, you can become instructors, you can become management people, you can become trainers and stuff. But there is no, unlike another normal corporate world job, there is not an MBA or something that you can do to, I mean, of course, it would be an enhancement for your resume, might help you advance your chances in growing. But as such, when it comes to the end of the day, your main job is just to fly the aircraft.
Thank you
So
very
to
much,
that,
sir.
I'd just like to
Yeah,
add just 30 seconds that, passion is very important in this profession. So please do not pick up this profession just because, someone told you, okay, fine, you're not able to do something else, do this. Because if you don't have the passion, the profession will eventually kill you. So, yeah.
exactly. So now we have one more question. Seem to be very interesting and very relatable. They wanted to know about the expense of the course.
Yeah, so as I mentioned during my presentation as well, so your initial training can cost you anywhere between 30 to 60, 65, 70 lakhs, depending on where you're doing your training. It's a little much cheaper if you're doing it in the United States of America or in Europe or somewhere. It is a little more expensive in India. Of course, it is a little cheaper in India if you go to one of the newer flight schools. In aviation, name has a big place. So as the name increases, it's just like having a brand. So the better the brand, the more expensive it gets. So anywhere between 30 to 60 lakhs for your initial training, and can cost somewhere between 15 to 25 for your advanced training as well.
Okay, Captain Deepak, thank you very much for that. Patiently, you just answered our queries. Once again, thanks a lot. Over to you, the comparers.
You're most welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me over.
You, sir, for all your support and guidance given to the large audience for attending to their concerns so patiently during the course of the discussion. It is time for us to move on to the second part of the session, the time to meet the university spokesperson, Major Dr. Rekha Sinha. First, let us watch a short video.
Avenir is a global career guidance event to empower students and assist them in identifying their ideal future career path. It was conceptualized by the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Sultanate of Oman. The first Avenir was organized at Indian School Al Mabala in the year 2018. In 2019, Indian School El Seeb conducted the program. Indian School Muscat conducted the first virtual Avenir in the year 2020. Avenir 2021 was conducted virtually by Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir. In 2022, the flagship school in Oman. Indian School Bachelor is all set to fly the flag higher by conducting Avenir 2022 in hybrid mode. Our impeccable planning, devoted team, unmatched resources guarantee a memorable event. The 5-day event will be held from Thursday, October 13, 2022 to Tuesday, October 18, 2022. Prominent achievers, educators, and industry experts will address the audience. Universities and educational institutes from different corners of the globe will present themselves to the audience of Avenir 2022. The event is open to all educational boards, including CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, and IB. It will provide comprehensive career guidance to students to pursue their passions at national and international universities. Avenir 2022 guarantees a wealth of information and awareness on 21st century courses, scholarships, internships, and career placements. This event will assist students in discovering their ideal future career path. Let us gather together for this 5 days of excitement, effulgence, enlightenment, exploration, and exaltation. Let's join Avenir 2022 to discover you.
My honor to introduce all of you to our next speaker, Dr. Rekha Sinha. Major Dr. Rekha Sinha has more than 25 years of experience in the education field. She has been an NCC officer and director interior design with superb leadership and communication skills. She also easily cultivates trusting and product relationships with students, parents, teachers, and staff. Dedicated and proactive with strong commitment to create high-quality education standards that develop the potential in every student.
Rekha Sinha joined the JGI group in the year 1996. She joined NCC in the year 2002, was commissioned for NCC after training in Officer Training Academy, Gwalior, and appointed as lieutenant, currently serving as major in NCC rank. She is a PhD holder in the subject Hindi. She held the position of a consultant at Motorola. She is currently the director of School of Interior Design and School of Humanities and Social Sciences. She has won numerous prestigious awards. Some of the noteworthy awards are Gold Medal in Sanskrit Special Studies in the year 1995 from Bangalore University, Gold Medal in Master of Arts in Hindi in the year 1995 from Bangalore University, and Pidilite Award for Excellence in 2011. She is also a great writer. Some of her notable publications are Kalam Ki Shakti, a poem which is published in the newspaper by Saroj Sandesh. Samkalin Hindi Katha Sahitya Mein Yug Bodh. Major Dr. Rekha Sinha, we are indeed proud to acquire knowledge from you. Today, she will be enriching us on the topic Career in Bachelor of Arts. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, dear. Good afternoon, my dear students. Alan David Bloom, a philosopher from America, makes a very truthful yet a bewildering statement, and here I quote, "Social science and humanities have a mutual contempt for one another. The former looking down on the latter as unscientific, while the latter regarding the former as Philistine. The difference comes down to the fact that social science really wants to be predictive, meaning that man is predictable while the humanities say that he is not. And here you all have gathered to study and learn the predictable and unpredictable minds of humans. I, Major Dr. Rekha Sinha, welcome you all to this beautiful journey of knowledge and wisdom. Humanities belongs to every individual, for it enlightens with wisdom and vision. It clarifies the roles of the citizen, while it also explains the politics and business, therefore encouraging an individual's participation in communities. It also assists in weighing different ideas and statements. We are awakened to the possibilities of culture and human life. It teases our brains to expand understanding, also igniting the power of our imagination. Humanities, the study of rich human experience that is gained from the past, present, and the future forms. The disciplines learned under humanities are an important thread that forms the fabric of society. Through the courses of humanities, the students are provided knowledge in the subjects of history, philosophy, literature, psychology, sociology, journalism, and economics. The knowledge obtained from these subjects trains the student to recognize and appreciate the diversity of human life and various experiences, allowing them to comprehend, question, and transform the increasingly globalized world in a much better manner for the upcoming future and its generations. The students of humanities are engaged in great works of literature, philosophy, and also the study of ancient civilizations. Through this, they improve critical thinking, the skills of communications, and also develop analytical abilities. Career options for students in humanities is not bound to using technology. Instead, it involves the students to interact with the people around them, understand their needs, and find solutions to make the society a better place to dwell in. According to a certain study, 87% of students majored from humanities are content with their careers, rising to 90% for those with a master's degree. Also, the unemployment rate, which we should be aware of, is low, as much as 4.3%. Furthermore, 60% of humanities majors work in management and supervisory jobs, implying that the vast majority of humanities graduates will definitely advance to leadership positions. To build a good career in humanities, a well-chosen strategy at every level is very important. To start off a degree in humanities, Bachelor of Arts is necessary, after which you can enrich your knowledge in a specific chosen domain. With an undergraduate degree, you will be able to experience the essence of humanities and its importance in our daily life with different internships and outreach programs offered in humanities stream. You can become very sensitive to the needs of people around you, while it also helps you to come up with innovative and effective solutions to any given problems. Career paths are often chosen very early in life, maybe as young as 16 or 17. This is often done with the view of specialization. The more we do a certain deed, the better we excel at it. Also, the more specialized an individual is, the deeper their knowledge dives. You savor no fruit unless you sow and nurture the seeds. So there is no win until you work hard for it. Be passionate about what you love and work hard to attain it. That should be the mantra for every individual present here. In this case, be thirsty for knowledge and thrive until you get the best of it. You might be robbed of all your materialistic belongings, but none can be robbed of your knowledge which you have gained, which you are gaining. So if you are dreaming to be the best, then put in the best of your hard work. I'm sure you all have taken great efforts to be where you are today, but you will have to approach with much more effort to pursue the stream of humanities, where you also have to have passion, discipline, dedication, and consistency, which are the quality keys to be the best versions of yourself. Remember, the study of humanities is not just a degree. Instead, it is the weapon of knowledge to make this world more sensitive, sensible, and safe for all of us to live in. University will give you much more than just a degree. So you all have to get ready for all the different surprises which are going to come up and the adventures that you will be experiencing for the next few years of your life. In fact, we have students from other nations joining us, and I guarantee to them that they will not be taking just the knowledge, but also carrying along with them a little culture of us, and while sharing with us a part of their culture as well. Let this not be a class of just sharing notes and notebooks. We look more than that, where there will be a sharing of cultures and customs too. I rest my words by assuring you all that help and assistance, which will be always provided by JAIN University. Do not hesitate to ask for any sort of help. The entire university is always present to help you. The best of the faculties are available, who are there to give their best until you are the best yourself. Saying that, I wish you all the very best for your upcoming future. Shining like the stars and like birds you all fly. Stop not until you reach the sky. Here with me I have Ms. Supraja, counselor, who will also be here to help us out in answering the questions if you have any. Thank you so much for having me over here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I request Compere to go ahead.
Thank you
May I
for that
request
quite informative session, ma'am. Attendees, kindly note, we do have eminent speaker, Professor Supraja, on the board. It is with great pleasure that I extend my cordial welcome to Professor Supraja to the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Greetings of the day to all of you present in the meeting. Good morning, Major Dr. Rekha Sinha, ma'am. I'm very honored to be on board to help you all to resolve few questions about career. So I also major in career counseling and counseling in general for the teenagers. Now, career becomes very, very important for us as we move ahead in our life. Now, you may feel that you're in crossroads of your life when you have to go ahead and choose a particular university to pursue your degree, and later on you're handed your degree and you're almost like, what do I do next? Right? So for that, you have to identify your strengths, your weakness, and also the opportunities that are there in your environment. We in humanities, we have an array of subjects that you can choose. That is psychology, journalism, sociology, economics, and we have other subjects like interior design, so on and so forth. And all of these subjects that are there require particular skill set. And majorly, it depends on how empathetic you are, how sensitive you are to your needs. Now, there are certain theories in career that focus on your personality style. So as a psychologist, I would say that identify your personality type and then move ahead to the kind of career that you want to choose, because your social cognition, that is the way your mentality works in a society, the self-concept that you hold about yourself and the concept that you have about the environment around you is very important when it comes to selection of your career. So you need to understand if you are artistic, if you're social, if you're enterprising, if you're conventional. And also you should have certain type of career maturity wherein you explore the growth, you establish yourself in a particular career path that you have chosen, and you maintain this establishment and upskill every single year. Now, for students who are in school, it is very important for you to approach a career counselor so that you identify your strengths, weakness, and your personality style so that you can stick on to that particular career path for a longer period of time. It is advisable that you start off identifying the subjects that you like and opt for it in your 11th and 12th standard or in your pre-university level. Later on, you can build upon it and go for an undergraduate in the subject that is for you or that is your calling. And then you can have your post-graduation, which is even more narrowed down, and many number of internship opportunities are given to you so that you bridge the gap between the theoretical knowledge and your practical knowledge. So this is my advice to all the students that are present here, is to seek a counselor, understand your personality type, understand the career options that are available for your personality type so that you can endure it and you can be persistent over it. We do see that some people opt for a particular career type because of family pressure. Just because my parents are doctor, I want to be a doctor. Just because my parents are lawyer, I want to be a lawyer. But at the end of the day, you are an individual with certain sets of skills. You have certain traits of personality If there is a mismatch, then there is an imbalance in the kind of work that you're delivering in the career. So I can go ahead and answer all of your questions.
Thank you very much for the insightful answers. We have many queries, and yes, the students can access the mobile app and the questions will be directly addressed. Over to you, Sudiksha.
As we draw the ending of this enriching session, I deem it my great privilege to propose the vote of thanks. But before that, I'm bound that there are a few questions. Let us take up one or two of them. Over to the moderator.
So I guess we can go ahead with the question answer session. Do we have any video to be played in between? Yes, so we'll go ahead with the video. After that, we'll move towards the Q&A session.
Welcome to JAIN deemed to be University International Admissions Office. NAC A++ with a score of 3.71 on a 4-point scale. Rank 79 under the NIRF, the National Institute Ranking Framework. 2,500 plus students on campus and 6,500 plus online students over 50 plus countries. 7 campuses across Bangalore with modern and latest infrastructure. 120 plus programs. Allied healthcare and sciences, commerce, design, engineering and technology, humanities and social sciences, languages, management, PhD, sciences. Your future begins here.
Let's move ahead with the Q&A sessions. So thank you very much, Dr. Rekha and Professor Supreja, for enlightening us with your informative session and also adding a spell of humanitarian value to this session. So, ma'am, let's move with the first question. It's to Dr. Rekha. Ma'am, could you please specify about the most prominent humanities subjects which may provide a competitive edge to the students in their career in the future?
Yes, as it was mentioned earlier that with respect to economics, especially with JAIN deemed to be University, we are coming up with School of Economics, where students can pursue economics in honors and they can take up the degree. Further, if at all they want to go for higher studies, even that they can pursue. So in that case, apart from that, we have psychology as well, psychology, sociology. So if the student wants to go ahead and take something pertaining to psychology, we have in JAIN University many platforms where the triple major subjects are available, and through these triple major subjects, they can definitely avail different varieties which have been provided by School of Humanities and Social Sciences.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Moving on to the second question. During this era of profit maximization, could you instill a driving force among students about the importance of pursuing a degree in art like poetry, essays, and how by pursuing a degree in these study areas can bring about a change in the world as a whole?
Yes, sure. Ms. Supreja, who is the counselor, will be the better person to answer this question. Supreja, can you pitch in?
Yes, ma'am. So for having a degree in literature, basically, we need to. It's not necessary that you always have this imbibed in you. We teachers always will support you to gain those vocabulary. But when it comes to understanding the text, understanding the poetry, understanding the literatures of the world, it opens up an array of knowledge for you to compare what is happening in today's state, gather information as to what is happening in today's state, and the rich knowledge that has already been passed down by prominent, literature specialists. And it becomes important for us to understand these texts because they are so rich in knowledge, and we can actually use it in our day-to-day life as well. So a degree in literature, you can go ahead and have a PhD in it. You can write books based on the previous literature that is already existing, or you can also give in your creative edge to the literature that is already existing, or you can also write books on your own. So literature has been a part of our studies since the primary school. So we require it in our day-to-day life. So this is my point for pursuing your career in literature, understanding the text, understanding the wide range of knowledge that the world has to offer when it comes to literature domain.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We have a query related to artificial intelligence. Student wants to know how artificial intelligence is related to psychology.
Yes.
Is there a relationship between these two? And
Yes.
how about Jain? Does the university provides any opportunity to pursue a career or a course in artificial intelligence?
Yes, ma'am. So if you see, most of the things are related to psychology. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, we need some human to operate it, right? So it's not just it doesn't have its own life, but we need another human being to operate it. So to make it even compliable for us to operate it, we have to feed in certain data so that it is accessible to everybody. So what kind of knowledge I have when it comes to any kind of, say, for example, a robot that uses artificial intelligence. So I may not be technically advanced, but I need to make that robot user-friendly. And also for the robot to use its own brain or mechanisms to work in a particular way, we should have certain cognitive aspects also involved in it. That is the mental processes also involved in it. That is, if our memory, the human being's memory works in a particular way, right? We have short-term memory, long-term memory. So if it is working in certain way, the same thing should be installed in the robot, right? So that it stores information. And artificial intelligence is booming in the industry, not just in terms of robotics, but also in the softwares that we use. It has to be very user-friendly. It has to be accessible to even the physically disabled, intellectually disabled, and people who have learning disabilities as well, right? So in JAIN, we do provide specialized papers on artificial intelligence, and there are a few modules that are linked to psychology as well. Even I heard someone talk, I think Captain DEEPAK talk about aviation, flying. So we have papers on aviation psychology as well. We have cognitive psychology, we have health psychology, we have psychology of sports, which uses kinesthetics and perspective of kinesthetics, which is related to psychology and recovery management. So we provide an array of subjects in psychology itself. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, a human being is required to operate a machinery at the end of it. So to make it more easier, user-friendly, to save our time, we do need a psychologist over there who can help you quickly to analyze what is wrong and how it can be more human in nature. How can it be more? Of course, we cannot instill sympathy in that. We can empathy in that. We can instill sympathy in that, right? So we can use different kind of softwares to do that.
Thank you very much, Supracha ma'am. From your talk, we got an idea that Jane is all about innovation rather than following an innovative idea. Yeah, you follow it, but still you innovate ideas for the world. Okay, thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank Major Doctors Rekha Singh and Supracha for patiently answering our queries. Thank you. Over to you, comparers.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the
Yeah,
insightful
here,
answers. We have.
I just want to say something. I'm from JAIN University. I'm really thankful to Dr.
Yes, sir.
Rekha.
Kindly go forward, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Dr. Rekha Sinha ma'am and Supriya ma'am. They was here on very short notice. They changed their schedule, and I'm really thankful. They given the brief information and the valuable information regarding admissions and all. I request to IT team, if you can allow us to share our contact details to everyone, because I'm sending, it's going only to panelists and co-host. If you can extend to everyone, so we can share our details so they can contact later on for any kind of admission inquiries and all. If possible, ma'am.
Yes, good morning, sir. It's already shared for everyone, sir. Your details, Google form, and everything is shared with everyone.
Okay. Thanks a lot, and
thank you.
Thanks a lot, and I for all the listeners, I'm thankful they are here and they patiently listen us, and I'm sure if they can come up with us, I can tell the two words which I used to tell that I learned from my chairman, sir: believing and daring. These both the qualities I've seen in Dr. Rekha Sinha ma'am also. She is a major, being a lady, being a woman. She has rocked like anything, and on all the like in the field of mains. So I really appreciate, and any girl who's coming to JAIN University, they can be they can have multiple career along with academic. They can go for RB, they can go for different fields in the sports, and she's the one who can inspire them. So I request to all the girls, just see, like, we have a women icon called Dr. Rekha Sinha ma'am, and I'm thankful to all the Avenir team. They've given this platform. Please, to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. You have motivated me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, yes. Over to the comparers.
Thank you so much, sir, and ma'am, for the insightful answers. We have many queries, and yes, the students can access the mobile app and the questions will be directly addressed. As we draw the end of this enriching session, I deem it my great privilege to propose the vote of thanks. We extend our heartfelt thanks to our eminent speaker, Captain DEEPAK Joseph Thom, for all his words of motivation. Thank you, sir. We express our gratitude for the spokesperson, Major Dr. Rekha Sinha and Ms. Supraja of the JAIN University, for sharing us details and giving us an overview of the career guidance. Thank you, ma'am. Our deepest sense of appreciation and gratitude to Chairman Dr. Shivakumar Manakam and the members of the Board of Directors, Bosch's School Management Committee, and the principal of the school, Dr. Bhavesh Balerao. We request the participants to kindly fill in the feedback form posted on the chat window. We present a video of our valued sponsors, and heartfelt thanks to our platinum sponsor, JAIN deemed to be University, gold sponsors, De Montfort University, silver sponsors, Dallas Baptist University USA, Grey Matters, and SP Jain School of Global Management, Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, bronze sponsors, Middle East College, SP Jain School of Global Management, digital marketing partner, Spectrum and Trifoil, media partner, the Arabian Stories and valued donors, and are empowered by and support sponsors. Over to the video. An event of this kind requires the coordination of a committed team. Thank you, ISB's Avenue team, for making Avenue 2022 possible. Thank you to each of the teachers, students, and parents for being a part of this session.
Where there is a will, there is a way. If there is a chance in a million that you can do something, anything, to keep what you want from ending, do it. Pry the door open, or if need be, wedge your foot in that door and keep it open. A quote by Pauline Kael. With these uplifting words, I, Adelicia, wish you all a glorious day ahead. Thank you all.
Before we sign off, let me remind you of the upcoming sessions. The upcoming sessions are scheduled for today, 14th October 2022 from 4 p.m. onwards and will be continued as per the schedule. A gentle reminder to all to fill the feedback form provided in the chat window. Every attendee who submits the feedback form will receive a digital certificate. See you in the next session. Stay tuned and stay.
Avenir is a global career guidance event to empower students and assist them in identifying their ideal future career path. It was conceptualized by the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Sultanate of Oman. The first Avenir was organized at Indian School Al Mabala in the year 2018. In 2019, Indian School El Seeb conducted the program. Indian School Muscat conducted the first virtual Avenir in the year 2020. Avenir 2021 was conducted virtually by Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir. In 2022, the flagship school in Oman. Indian School Bachelor is all set to fly the flag higher by conducting Avenir 2022 in hybrid mode. Our impeccable planning, devoted team, unmatched resources guarantee a memorable event. The 5-day event will be held from Thursday, October 13, 2022 to Tuesday, October 18, 2022. Prominent achievers, educators, and industry experts will address the audience. Universities and educational institutes from different corners of the globe will present themselves to the audience of Avenir 2022. The event is open to all educational boards, including CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, and IB. It will provide comprehensive career guidance to students to pursue their passions at national and international universities. Avenir 2022 guarantees a wealth of information and awareness on 21st century courses, scholarships, internships, and career placements. This event will assist students in discovering their ideal future career path. Let us gather together for this 5 days of excitement, effulgence, enlightenment, exploration, and exaltation. Let's join Avenir 2022 to discover you.